Hello, everyone, and welcome to Cleaning Conversations, a live broadcast with JeniMaid, and we are going to be talking about environmental hygiene and missing link in creating a healthier home. And my name is Jennifer Fitzwater, founder of JeniMaid and Signature Environmental Solutions, and today we are really concerned about our homes. Since COVID, there has been a huge influx of interest of indoor air quality, surfaces, floors, all around us in our environment. And so we're on step number 4 of this tour to discuss this and more. And as I said, my name is Jennifer Fitzwater. I'm founder of JeniMaid. I have, over the past 27 years, I have been in the cleaning industry in multiple sectors, cleaning across hospital settings, hospitality, agricultural, restaurant, fast food, and several inside the cleaning industry, which would be the post-construction, moving in or out, hazmat, biohazard cleaning, and what was the other one? Oh, and realtor. So I do pre-listings. And during that time, I've cleaned homes, studying cleaning methods, observed changing consumer expectations, and watched our understanding of health and the indoor environment continue to evolve toward this environmental hygiene concept. People are more concerned about their, like I said, their environment than ever before. And so today I want to talk about a subject, which is environmental hygiene, that I believe will play an increasingly important role in the future of residential cleaning and healthy home living. Environmental hygiene. Seriously, most people believe that if a home looks clean, it must be healthy. That is not true. Because after decades of working inside homes, I began asking myself a different question. If a home looks clean, does that automatically mean it is supporting the health and well-being of the people living there? Not always. A clean home and a healthy home are related, but they are not necessarily the same thing. That realization led me to begin thinking differently about residential cleaning, and eventually led me to develop what I call environmental hygiene practices in my cleaning service. What I'd like to share, what environmental hygiene is and why it matters and how it can help your home and the people that live inside that home. So in understanding environmental hygiene, most people think about cleaning, they think about appearance, and that has been going on for years. We worry about our carpets, that are vacuumed, sparkly bathrooms, shiny countertops, dust-free furniture. Those things are important. However, environmental hygiene asks us to look beyond appearance. Instead of asking, does this look clean? Environmental hygiene asks, does this environment support our health, comfort, and well-being of the people that inhabit that space? That is a very different conversation than appearance. Today, people spend more time indoors than ever before, and homes have become workplaces. Now, since COVID, a lot of that has been working inside the home. A lot of my clients work from home. Classrooms, we gather in spaces like this coffee shop, recovery spaces, and safe havens. Because we spend so much time inside our homes, the environment we create matters. Environmental hygiene encourages us to view the home as an entire living environment rather than simply a collection of rooms. Because everything connects. Our environment has connecting components, as I've talked before. It considers things such as our daily habits, high-touch surfaces, airflow, maintenance routines, clutter levels, and the overall condition of the whole space that we live in. Many environmental concerns are not always visible. Dust can accumulate in areas we rarely inspect, like underneath furniture, for example, behind beds. Because when I used to do move in, move out cleans, I would tell the furniture move, that's where all the dust is left on carpets, in piles, in closets, on doors. Okay? Many environmental concerns are not always visible, like I said. Poor habits can contribute to ongoing problems. Ventilation may be inadequate, especially in those stuffy older buildings, like your older homes. I've cleaned homes that were built in the 1800s. They have very different ventilation than a newer build. Small issues can gradually affect the quality of the indoor environment without us even realizing it. This is why environmental hygiene focuses on both what we can and what we can't. The goal is not perfection, the goal is improvement. The goal is creating an environment that better supports the people, again, the people living in it. And over time, I developed a simple framework. So what is the environmental hygiene framework? It helps homeowners understand environmental hygiene. You cannot improve what you cannot identify. Assessment involves observing the environment and looking for opportunities to improve it. It means asking questions. What areas are being overlooked? What habits may be contributing to problems? What opportunities exist to improve the home environment? The second step is prevention. Prevention focuses on reducing opportunities for problems to develop in the first place. It is often easier and less expensive to prevent a problem than to correct it later. Small changes in daily habits can make a significant difference over time. The third step is maintenance. This is where consistency becomes important. One of the biggest lessons I have learned during my career is that healthy environments are not created for occasional efforts. They are created for consistent, small actions performed regularly often create better long-term results than major efforts performed occasionally. The fourth step is education. Education may be the most important component of all. When people understand why certain practices matter, they are more likely to continue them. Knowledge is literally power. It creates confidence. Education empowers homeowners to make informed decisions about their homes and families. Together, these four elements create a practical, sustainable approach to environmental hygiene. So literally, we're bringing the hospital clinical setting having environmental hygiene from the clinical setting to your home. Why should hospitals be the only ones able to have this environment and of course they have to keep patients safe, but we as individuals should have safety in our homes as well. We should take those consistent steps to make sure that we, especially kids, they're always touching things and spreading germs, hand hygiene is crucial. So the little ones, make sure you get them to wash their hands because that is how things spread initially. In the 1800s, like I mentioned in other speech, Ignaz Semmelweis, he established hand hygiene when he noticed that doctors were going from autopsies to birthing mothers, and that the birthing mother rate was dropping at an astronomical rate after hand hygiene was established. He was resisted, but then, like anything else that works, people will resist it at first, but then when they see it works, they start doing it. And that's why we have hand hygiene. That's why during COVID, they were talking about your hands. Don't touch your face after you touch something. You don't know what was there. Okay? Today, I believe the future of residential cleaning extends beyond appearance alone, as I said. Homeowners increasingly want more than a clean-looking home. That is becoming very apparent when you have eco-friendly in every service now, where there comes a Stanley steamer and they're testing floors for fecal matter. Well, the fecal matter came from your toilet fluid. Close that lid when you flush your toilet. You just contaminated it with a microbials, these little microbeads of fecal matter just sprayed all over your bathroom. Okay? I didn't know that either for years until my boyfriend of all things told me. He told me that, and I didn't believe him, but then I started looking into this subject, and I found out. But anyways, so homeowners, they're becoming more aware of than just a clean home. They want their clean environment too. They want better information, healthier living environments, and greater confidence that their homes are supporting their family's well-being. Okay, so when you hire a housekeeper, you better make sure they know what they're doing. That they know how to clean the surfaces properly and disinfect the surfaces. We come in after that and just use our technology environmental hygiene technology to finish the job of what we can't see. That is the key, what you can't see. And after 47 years in the cleaning industry, I have observed that homes that stay in the best condition are rarely the biggest homes or the more expensive homes. Instead, they are homes where healthy habits, consistent routines, and intentional maintenance have become part of everyday life. The condition of the home often reflects the systems being used within it. Good systems create better outcomes. If there is one thing I hope you take away from today's presentation is this: environmental hygiene is not about fear. It's not about perfection. It's about awareness, being aware of your environment, what you can and cannot see. Okay? Because your environment is moving. You open a window, stuff comes in. You open a door, stuff comes in. You can bring it in your shoes, backpack, purse, you name it. Whatever you your pets. It's about making informed choices. It's about creating home environments that support the people who live in them. There are simple steps every homeowner can begin taking today. Improve your airflow whenever possible. Reduce unnecessary clutter. Pay attention to frequently touched surfaces like light switches, doorknobs, and all that. Develop simple cleaning routines. Even if you have to clean like the bathrooms on Thursday and the kitchen on Monday. Develop those simple routines. Focus on consistency rather than perfection. Think beyond appearance and consider the overall living environment. I believe environmental hygiene is one of the most important conversations happening in residential cleaning today, because the future is not simply about the homes looking clean. The future is about homes that support health, comfort, and well-being. My mission is not simply to clean homes. My mission is to help people understand how the environment inside their homes affects the quality of their daily lives. Because when we know better, we can do better. And when we do better, we create homes that just don't look clean, they support the people who live in them. Thank you, and if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer any questions you have, since you happen to be here, about environmental hygiene. Okay, because it's a new topic that I'm talking about. I'm going around and talking about this. I own a cleaning service, and I've been doing it for 47 years. And I will tell you that this is a much needed thing. I work for cancer patients, people with asthma, people with allergies, and there is a common denominator going around. And that common denominator is lack of environmental hygiene. Environmental hygiene goes beyond disinfection. Okay, we're talking taking your environment as a whole and taking care of it. Whether you're cleaning surfaces, controlling your, cleaning your floors, with steam cleaners. You can't use steam on this, but if you have tile floors, you use steam to get all those germs that you can't see out of the floor, out of your walls, out of your air ducts. That's why you'll see companies that they have pieces of the puzzle, but they don't have the whole puzzle like my company does. They have more remediation. They have indoor, like their vents, like Walmart. They have these blue lights that they install in there to try to kill all the germs that, because air moves. When I walk across the room, I'm bringing germs with me. If you open a thing, pollen comes in. It's just like a video game, really, when you think about it. If you go like this with a sheet, when you make your bed, you're putting the sheet on, you're spreading dust, pollen, dander, if you have pets. That's how things spread. That's why in a crowd, this is also important as to why we got COVID. Because when we're in a gathered space, people cough, sneeze, they move, and those germs have attached themselves to you, especially like if I touch this, okay, or a light switch somebody else had that was sick, and then I touch my face, which your eyes, nose, and ears, and all that, mouth, that's how you get sick. Okay, kids know best because they're little germ magnets. That's just the way they are. They're tactile. Kids are tactile. That's how they learn. So the thing is here, the takeaway is you got to really look at your environment at home. Make sure it's clean. Make sure that if you can't have air purifiers or whatever, if you can't afford something like what we provide, you could do little bits. Every little bit helps. But in my view, the whole environment to be taken care of is best. And with JeniMaid, we have Sneaker Environmental Solutions. It's our disinfecting what it does is, it's a box about this big. Four people in the whole United States have this technology. We're contracted to go in and we put in your home, and in the center of the room, nobody can be present because this is aerosolized hydrogen peroxide, and it will jet everything. It goes into a big plume, pretty much like toilet plume, but this is a good plume, and it covers everything in 10 minutes dwell time. Your whole room's reset, your air's reset, your walls, every surface that you clean, and you have to clean before this. I have to clean this whole room, then do it, because we're taking care of everything that's left over. The smells will be gone, because it deodorizes too, all the way up to skunk smell. This stuff works. It is really good. It's a 6-log kill. It takes care of 99.999% of all. No one can do 100 because germs move as soon as you go in. But the key here is, the key takeaway with that is, your germs start down here, and then by the end of the week, there's this big. And the fact that you may get sick because the germ stack or microbial load is what they medically speaking would say, gets big enough, that threshold that you can get sick. This threshold, 0.1% is manageable. We all have to have germs, or our immune systems will go dead. And we have to have them active. But you don't want 50% germ stack in your house, and you have little kids running around who get sick. But if you can keep them at healthy levels like you do at a hospital, because you never heard of anybody going to a hospital, well, maybe you have, but I mean, for the most part, you're not supposed to go into a hospital sick and come out sicker. Well, that's because they take care of their environment. That's why. We need to do the same exact thing, especially when you hear antibiotics, especially when you hear Ebola, which, by the way, we get rid of that too. I mean, if you just say after illness, post-illness, we take care of that. It'll kill Ebola, it'll kill Nipah, it'll kill RSV, all that stuff. Hospitals, it was built for hospitals during COVID. So, that being said, it's a really, it's a good system, and I'm talking about it all over town because people don't really pay attention. They're not knowing. When I first started talking about this, people were looking at me like a deer in headlights, like, what the heck are you talking about? You have never heard of this before. And so I said, well, guess we're going to have to start the drawing board, and we're going to have to start talking about this. And so I had talks all over town. This is my 4th one. And I'm going to be at this cupcakes, Sunshine Cupcakes. They're going to let me talk there next month. On the 14th, I'm going to be up there. So if you know anybody, that's where I'm going to be. I'm going to be in a little, it's an intimate spot, just like a little smaller than this. But, wherever I can talk for free, because, I'm not a wealthy woman. But anyways, that's it, Okay. Thank you very much, everybody. And I just wanted to let you know, so that's it.